You guys are all going to be assigned a color and a group. Okay? So what I do, and they're going to give you roughly 8 of these tags. Let's just use that for numbers, pretty close to 8. So what I do with these tags is I put my number on it. So this is red 8. This is what I was at the last one, red 8. So red 8, I take, and I put that on the back, and I do this on all my equipment too. My duffel bags, backpacks, everything. I put a tag on everything. And I put an address thing on the back. So if it don't get to you, they know what belongs to it, okay? So on the end of my carry box, I got a Phillips screw. And I just take that little Phillips screw and I take that red 8, and put that Phillips screw in there. So when this caddy box is sitting in the parking lot with a whole bunch of caddy boxes, they deliver it for you. They know that this caddy box goes to red 8. Okay? I also paint it on the end of my caddy boxes. I do that every year, change it. Every time I go on one, I change that. I paint exactly what I aim. So it's on both ends of these boxes. So they know that this caddy box has got to go to red 8. Makes sense, right? Them guys are busy, they're working. Bob knows, for those of you running equipment, getting these caddy boxes out there is work, you know? So I put that on, and it makes it easy for them, you know? Where does this caddy box go? Similar, you know? That's what I do. So a little bit about that. This one's a little bit heavier. I use this for my kind of a jump off, you know? And as we go, you'll see. So I have legs that go on this box, and they're just pipes, this black pipe with a washer. And they go up through the handle, like so. So this box sits on those legs. That's simple. Sits on the ground, it sits about this far off the ground. Not a big deal. So 4 legs, keep them in there. So this caddy box used to fold down. You make changes as you go. Well, when you fold it down, it's hard for these little kids to get what's in the back of the caddy box, right? Because you got table in front of you. So I changed it and I flipped it up. So I've got the mic on the other side. So I can kind of use that as a prep, and I can put all my clean stuff on top of it. You know? That's the way that I do the caddy box. So it's packed, as you can see. It's packed. So you gotta have silverware, pots and pans, plates, bowls, nice, for 10 people. Now if you've got a caddy of 8 and you have 2 visitors, that's 10. So it's nice to have 12, because you never know. You might need a knife or a fork or a spoon or something for preparation. So it says on here mandatory 5-gallon water container. I probably don't have a 5-gallon water container. I probably don't. I got 5-gallon buckets, but you say everything but the kitchen sink. And actually, you know, you got the kitchen sink in here too, because here's your kitchen sink, you know. So 5-gallon water containers. So before I get too far, so you might be paired up with another counselor, okay, who's also going to have this list. So Jim would email me. I would probably call him, and I would have this list in front of me, and I was going to say, what are you going to bring and what am I going to bring? Okay, so let's say we're going to Michigan, Rutgers. I'm right here in Grand Rapids, you know, I'm going to take this caddy box with me. He might be flying in from California. You know what? Don't bring a caddy box, I'll handle it. You bring some of this little stuff. You know, bring a roll of duct tape or a marker or whatever, you know? But go through this list with whoever you're with. And you might be with a junior counselor. You might not even be with a counselor. So you want to go through this list to determine who's going to bring what. You know, for those of us in Michigan going to the UP, my thoughts, you're probably bringing the majority of it if you're with a counselor that's coming across the state. You know? So, kind of that way. So, 1 5-gallon water container. 5-gallon water container. Small timber saw with extra blades. Okay? So what I got is real timber saw. I bring this one big, and it's a big how many clubs end up using this utility saw? Picnic tables, benches, logs, it cuts them all, okay? I've had that at just about every one of them. It tends to do a lot of traveling, okay? And it always came home, which has been very important, okay? Hatching with the sheath, you know what, I don't know if I can say that. Hatching with the sheath in the truck, okay? You really don't use your hatchet with the sheath much. Just to let you know, when we go on, the wood is cut for you, it's split for you, it's burning. We don't burn a lot of wood. We didn't burn a lot of wood the last one. We're seeing a little less fires. We can cook with propane. So hatching with the sheath, the most amount of accidents we have on an International Camporee is knives and hatchets. The biggest two are knives and hatchets. So I always bring one, and it isn't the first thing I put out. Because if they don't need it, I just assume they didn't use it. Because it's the little Billy that goes out the corner, the next thing he comes back and he's got a gash in his leg. You know? So just throwing that out there. Splitting axe, you'll never split an axe in a shovel, and I don't have a rake. You're gonna have a rake, but I have to make a short rake because the rake's got to fit the Cadre Box, right? So you gotta make a rake a little bit. Okay, rake. Bucket or large pan to heat water. So these are a lifesaver, guys. It's nice to have a couple of these because we change things a little bit. So now when we do dishes, and it used to be you just wash dishes. So now we wash and we rinse and we sanitize. So we wash. We rinse. And we sanitize. So now you gotta have 3 bowls, it takes a lot of water, okay? Also, when it comes to your showers at night, I make my kids take a shower. I don't make them take a shower every night. When they find out how nice the shower works, they don't have a problem taking a shower every night, okay? Heat that water on propane. You know, we're using propane, so it's nice and easy to heat up water. You know, if you got 2 metal buckets like I got, you keep that water going. A 5-gallon bucket. This is my shower, 5-gallon bucket. They stand underneath it, they turn the valve on, they get wet, they turn the valve off, they soap up, they turn the valve on, they rinse. 5 kids in a 5-gallon bucket. A gallon per kid. Works well, okay? So that's my shower. I have a lid that goes on in here. So, and I had to put a screen hole in it because I found out when you snap this on, it sucks itself shut. So I had to put a screen, and now I can pour the water right through the top without taking the lid off it, and the dirt stays out of it, okay? So, this originated out of one of them shower bags. Shower bags worthless. First thing you know, your thing's ripped to death. But they got a great little shower head on it. So I used the shower head and repurposed it on a bucket. And this thing works great. Okay? So, bucket or large pan to heat water, pots, pans, and frying pans. Enough for 12 people, it says. 12 people. So, you know, usually this stuff all out, I should have like 20 tables out here, but use them. You don't have to keep cooking. I've got big cast iron grill. Okay, you do your steaks or pancakes, whatever, on this cast iron grill. Stays hot forever. You know, so you got to fill. You know, finish 12 people. You figure on that thing. Pots and pans and frying pans and plates and silverware and cups. So I didn't always have them in these plastic tubs, and I found out that this is really the way to go. So cups, Cups are in one. All my cups, hot and cold cups for 12 people. Plates, nice plastic plates. Silverware, just like home. Knives, forks, spoons. So guys, if you're gonna go, you watch garage sales, which I know we're not having right now, your thrift stores, that's the place to get your silverware. Get your silverware. You get enough for 12. Now, I gotta tell you, I don't always use silverware, and I'll go through that. I do use paper from time to time and plastic because it's easy. Sometimes we have a lunch where you don't actually cook anything, you just make a sandwich. You know, why get everything dirty for a sandwich? You know, so you might just use a paper plate. So what I do with that, you know, you gotta have your paper towel, your cutting board, your grater. You're making spaghetti. I got my toaster. Put it over your burger. Make your toast. 4 slices of toast at once. Open fire burner works good with either. And talk about a tablecloth. I always get the old fancy red plaid tablecloth. You can get them cheap anywhere. Camping section of any store. Cheap. I may go a little over on some stuff. You know, you think about it. You know, little Billy, he eats at home at night. Plates, silverware, cups, you know. Table's important. I always make a table if I can. So the three-year-old's here to make a table, I make a table. Kids like to sit and eat. We eat as a group, kind of like a family thing, kind of like home. The more they are like home, the happier they are, the less chance of getting a little bit of homesickness. You know, things are going good and smooth, things go a lot better. Okay, showers, that's why a shower is a big thing. You know, little Billy takes a shower every day. And now all of a sudden he goes 3-4 days and he ain't taking a shower. You know, now he's missing home. Next thing you know, he wants to go home. They take a shower every night. Once they get the shower figured out, and I make it easy for my kids, they'll take a shower every night. Yeah. So we do it just when it's time to be done, and I run it through like cavalry. No time flat, you got your cabin's done. And I always go last, unless I have a junior counselor, because they like to use 5 gallons. And then I say, when I'm done, you can fill it up and you can take your 5-gallon shower. You know, because I can do it in a gallon. So, you know, tongs and spatula and all this stuff, you need it. You know, even though you're working over stoves, you know, sometimes you might have a fire and you might need this stuff. You don't use this stuff very often, but it's just nice to have it. It's a 12 cup. You gotta have coffee. Unless you got good adjectives like me and Mike had the last one, the coffee is ready every morning for us. That's pretty nice. But for 12 cups of coffee, you know, garage sale's a good place to get these. You gotta have something to put your noodles in, or your mac and cheese, put your water in here, whatever we're having. You gotta have yourself a good pot, clean pot that you're actually gonna use for cooking. My shower rope, hoist that up and down, build something, a tripod or whatever to get it up and fasten it up, just lower it, fill it full of water, and go back up. And I put a knot in here, so when the rope hits the knot, that's where the bucket stops. The nozzle stays out of the ground, you fill it full of water. So, you just gotta have buckets, you know? So, I got a few buckets. You can't have 2 buckets. Maybe a kid forgot to bring his bag here or whatever. And, this we don't use on an International Camporee. So I use this when I'm up at our Grand Valley campground. So I stick this in this rubber plug, and then I put this in the bucket. So then I fill the bucket and I pump it to the top. So I never have to lower the bucket. But you don't have the ability at the campground, or at the International. So that's what I use that for. Of course, dish soap, PP. You never know. You might get to that little John might not have any toilet paper. You always want to have a spare roll along. You might just need it. Trash bags, they give you trash bags, bring extra trash bags. Containers for mixing stuff, whatever, keep stuff in. You know, same with this, you might have to make a salad some night. Same with this one. Lots of containers. You never know. You might have to make sandwiches and stick them all in a container and call it good. Empty can. You never know. You might need an empty can for storage. And then, of course, like I mentioned, the real metal stuff works good on propane. And I do have paper plates, not a ton. I'll bring a stack of paper plates. Don't use a ton of paper plates. Generally, when you use the paper plates, it's because you're having an easy meal. I also bring a little frying pan, little one, maybe just doing garlic bread some night. That whole bunch of garlic bread. Oh yeah, and then I got mixing cups. Sometimes you gotta mix stuff. It's easy to get, so pepper, salt, some spare matches. Lots of pepper, a lot of salt. Measuring cup, more matches. Coffee filters. Got a coffee filter for your coffee pot. Keep it in a nice handy container. And then I thought, oh, Ziploc bags, I'll bring Ziploc bags. I'll bring the big ones. I'll bring the little ones, the gallon ones. Cellophane. SOS pads. SOS pads. You gotta be scrubbing the pans. We want things clean, we like things hot. Quite often I'll do dishes with a cadet. You know, I like my water hot. It sterilizes things. I like clean things. Healthy kids, not sick kids. So I like my water hot. So I'll generally do dishes and have the kids do the rinsing and the drying. You find it when your water's hot and you wash your dishes and you put them out, in no time flat, they're dry. Especially in South Dakota. South Dakota, that stuff is dry, like that. And you find that. Aluminum foil, you gotta have aluminum foil. I bring a little cooking spray. Sometimes you need a little cooking spray. I got bowls. Regular bowls to match my plates. Red doesn't mean nothing. I bought red, it just had to be out of red the last time. I don't buy a different color bowl for every international amount. I got a little aloe vera. I keep it with me. Well, we've had some years where the kids get sunburned. And this works pretty good for that. It's crazy, you know. You go to a water park, there's nothing worse than going to a water park. These kids all get sunburned. It happens. It's happened a few times to me. I bring plenty of dish soap. You know, dish soap, a little more dish soap. This is it used to be milk. When you go to Canada, they give you milk in a bag. And I put it in this thing so I can pour it. You put the bag in this thing and you pour it. Right? It's the craziest thing. They do things different over there. So you gotta prepare. So I got spoons, forks, knives. So they all got their can, okay? And I got some fire starters. A few fire starters. You never know. You never know. There's nothing wrong with it. You need a fire, you can't get fire starters. We've all found that out on the snow derby. I do have a little first aid kit. Just basics. You know? Band-aids, gauze, Neosporin. We've all got medics. So those that have never been on an international camporee, just a little bit something about that. So when you go on an international camporee and you go on an activity as a group, you will always have a medic with you. You always have a medic with you. So it's not so important to have a first aid kit, but a little something happens at your academy site. It's nice to have a little something, maybe before you get into the med tent. So yeah, freezer bags, like I said, aluminum foil's in here. It's all in there. And you guys can look at this afterwards. I take some wire ties, and I have quite a few of them. Handy. You know, something breaks,
kid breaks something, maybe his canteen holder, you know, zip tie it up. Whatever you gotta do. You know, I think a couple of these. I probably will have towels, and then I got your dish towels. I take an extra roll of duct tape. It's on the list, and I will keep the list when I get done doing anything. You can't have too much duct tape, I don't think. A couple extra rolls is probably good. The problem is if you got too much, you tend to use too much. If you take just enough, you tend to be a little more screwy with it. But duct tape, wire tie, more tape, hot mitts. You gotta have hot mitts. Kids, for some reason, hands are wimpy. They're a lot like gyms. So you gotta have hot mitts. And if they get bored, they can use for boxing ones, you know? Hot mitts. And look at that list if I missed anything. Tarp, I got a tarp. It's actually my shower. I use it for my shower. So I build a shower. I just have an old tarp. This is the tarp, about yay tall. Just enough to go, just enough to cover the kids up. You know? About that high, it goes all year long. So if you gotta leave the side of the woods open, you leave the side of the woods open. Kids like a little something, even though we take our showers at night. Years ago, it's kind of crazy, so years ago, and I haven't been here yet, to go to Canada, to ship this on the semi to go to Canada, we had to have a inventory sheet for Canada, for customs, of everything that was in there. So I've actually got 3 pages of everything that's in that Cadre Box. And that's only if you truck them, you know. I don't know what happens if you call it. I've never taken my Cadre Box to Canada. When I go to Canada, I ship it through Core. It's just a whole lot less hassle. So, I mean, you got to put it on here. Soup spoons, 8 can openers, 3 potato pails, 2 steak knives, 2 pizza cutter, 1 mixer, 1 tongue, 1 masher, 1 ladle, 1 spoon, 1 spatula, 1 first aid kit. They want to know every individual thing that's in that box. So, kind of a crazy thing. I keep that because you just never know. You know? In 3 years, we'll call it 4 now, we're going to go to Canada again, maybe, we hope. So that's where we'll be. Talk about stuff. So you gotta have propane stove, because we're going to be using propane. I don't have anything fancy. We talked a little bit about that. So I bring a Y connector to hook 2. To hook 2 to 1 tank. They're going to use your propane tank. You're going to want at least 2 stoves. I only have 1, and I've never had to bring 2 myself, because I've always been with somebody that's had 1. It's nothing fancy. It's just standard 2-burner stove. If you're buying one of these, you gotta watch the BTU. Hit the highest BTU you can get. That's the key. Big burners will tell you that. If they're really pretty burners, it's not big enough for you. So I've cooked an awful lot of this. It's amazing how much you can cook on one of these things, you know. But I'll see if I missed anything. So 5-gallon water container, saw, hatchet, splitting axe, shovel, rake, bucket and large pan to heat water, pots, pans, and frying pans for 12 people, plates, silverware, cups for 12 people, potato peelers 2, meat knife 1, Perry knife 1, can opener, good one, can opener, good one, industrial, good Gordon Blue Service, somebody that's got the real can openers. You always get these restaurant grade cans. You know, it's got a jackhammer to get them open. Get yourself a good can opener, okay? Believe me, bottle opener or juice can punch, wire whisk for mixing, spatula, flipper, long handle spoons, long handle forks, flatted spoons, butter container, tongs, cutting board, potato masher, colander, strainer, large mixing bowls, heavy duty aluminum foil, food cooler. I don't have a cooler with me. So, when we were in Kananaskis in '96, we didn't have coolers, but we were all able to dig holes in the ground. So we all dug holes in the ground, and we put a bucket in that hole with a lid. And that was our cooler. We used that, and you can't believe how well that worked for a year-round cooler. I don't, must be 96 we didn't have a problem with animals, but that's the way we kept our food cool. No one came with coolers, and then we were in Iowa, and that year was so dumb hot, we had to go get coolers. You know, so we used that for coolers. It actually worked quite good. Cooking spray, covered food containers for storage, bag of large sealable baggies, gloves for hot dishes, salt and pepper, spices, which is salt, saran wrap. I got propane stoves. They don't tell you how many. I put 2. You want at least 4 burners. You really do. Propane hose for a 20-pound QCC fitting, T's and splitters, and I keep an extra hose and a T and a splitter, but I always check with one with ahead of time to find out, to make sure we're good there. And there's nothing worse than getting there not having what you need. Soap pads, 2 boxes. I got 2 packs. This dishwashing soap, large bottle, dish pans, waterproof tablecloth, waterproof matches or a lighter, toilet tissue. They don't tell you how many. I put ×2. First aid kit, napkins or paper towel, a shower bag or a bucket. I put a bucket. Pens, paper, marker, duct tape, not supplied. That's the only thing they say. Not supplied by the committee. None of this is supplied by the committee. This is the only one they told you not supplied by the committee.
I think it will be this time.
Okay, it might be.
In my garage.
So I put 2 rolls on there, and this is mandatory. This is what they want you to bring. On this is list 2 of things that are optional. Cadre Box. So how are you supposed to bring all this stuff if you don't have your optional Cadre Box? I suppose you could put it in all totes. And you're going to get roughly 8 slips. So you could put a slip on every box. But then you got to make sure you get every box when you get there. And when you get home, you got to make sure you still got your 8 boxes, you know? So why not build yourself a Cadre Box? Doesn't have to be fancy. Grills for cooking over an open fire. And I've got 2. I got that little light one. You wonder why it's so heavy, Mike, because some pans are heavy. So I got this to go over open fire. It's also got little legs that slide down. I got another big tarp in here, and then I got a portable thing, and I got a big grate in here. Something that's on here, which probably we're going to get to. I got an old bug screen for a semi. Put your tent so the skeeters don't come in. We're going to probably need that in Michigan because they got big skeeters up there. Okay, screen for your tent, and that might be on my optional list here. So Cadre Box, grills for cooking, juice cooler, colored markers for tents or spray paint or duct tape. You know, if you want to put your 5 on your pie, you know, in bold. You know, if you're going to be red, maybe you want to get a roll of red duct tape and do your, you know what I mean, say. People tend to use whatever color their group happens to be. So if you're green, you get a roll of green tape or red, white, whatever. So, insect screen for shelter ventilation. Insect spray, extra plastic for a canopy or a larger in your tent. I have a tarp in here, blue tarp. An extra one, okay? Whisk broom dustpan. It's amazing how dirty your tents get. This is a fur shirt. And I actually have a little arm one too. I have my kids clean my tent. You live in that tent for 7 days. You want your tent clean. Shoes by the door, right? Isn't that nice? Dual purpose. Want to go for a little ride at night, you know? So, yeah. So, I keep you know, instead of a cheap one for your propane tank. You know, that's another one you probably want to put your name on it. That tends to go all the way through your color area and everything. Flashlight batteries, coffee and tea. None is provided at the camp. Coffee pot or teapot, fire starter. Food handling gloves, towels to dry dishes, which I got. A broom, propane lantern, Cadre games for free time, cam top toaster, and then not allowed is metal poles for tarp hammers, nails, screws, screwdrivers, building a shelter. So I think I covered everything on the list, which is here, except for maybe a couple things, hatchet, splitting wall. I've never had a splitting wall. I've never had a reason to have a splitting wall with me. Is there any questions? Yes.
Well, it's more of a suggestion, but with the tag for your equipment, especially if you're in white and silver, put the color, like actually write the name of the color that you're in. So like if you're, for you, the
Red 8.
like on your sleeping bag or your duffel bag, because at the Iowa one, my sleeping bag didn't show up until Wednesday morning.
But did your if you get your color tags, whether they're silver or white, and you put your number on it, on your sleeve bag, that should get it there.
But I was in silver, and my stuff actually ended up going to the white color.
I'll say they were colorblind.
Yeah, so like I said, especially with silver and white,
Hey, they're just human guys.
yeah, that's why you give them a little bit of a hand.
Yeah, yeah. I know what you're saying. That's why I got on these boxes, red, E, red, R-E, yep, or green, G-R-E-N, whatever. But what else? Anybody got anything they want to add? This has always worked for me. Very rarely have I not needed what I had not something I needed. But this has been on a lot of them. It's changed a little bit. Originally this box was 2 by 2 by 4. It was longer on one end, and I actually I made it like a wheelbarrow, so my handles were long, and I had wheels on the other end, and I could wheel it right to my site. But then they came out with the requirements, it couldn't be over 4 foot long, so I cut the handles off, and the wheels off. So then I put these handles on the end so I could carry it. Well then if you build them too heavy, like this one's kind of heavy, but it's kind of rigid, and you put them on the trailer, these tend to end up on the bottom. So everything ends up on them. They take a beat. They really do. If you're going to build them, you got to build them. You got to build them. That's why this is off range. Because you put 3 Cadre boxes on top of this, that's a lot of weight. Yeah. So I've never had a problem with my Cadre box not making it in one piece. But yeah. I hope I'm doing good for time. I didn't pay attention, but I didn't want to go over. And, but I do get with your other counselor that's with you and see what he wants to bring or bring nothing. And like I say, for those of you that are going to go and you're maybe with some guys that are California, Montana, you know, Vancouver, British Columbia, you know, they're going to travel by train or bus or car, and you won't have any Canadians, but bring what you can, make it easier for them.
Well, just because it's not on the list doesn't mean you can't bring it.
Exactly. If it's, just be right. Just because it's not on the list don't mean you can't bring it. Especially if you know of something that, you know what, would really make clam life a lot nicer, and it ain't on the list and it's not on the not allowed list, bring it. Yeah, absolutely.
No, I didn't bring sugar on the last one because it wasn't on the list. My other council brought a big old bucket of sugar, like a pound of sugar.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
used almost all of it.
sure. Yeah.
One other thing, especially if you're not very good with names, pack those name tags for the first day especially.
Stick them on, put your name on, good idea, absolutely. I'm terrible with names, and I tell that to my kids right out the get-go. I stop, we all stop when the kids come, right up. I'm terrible with names. Give me a few days, and we'll work on it, because I am terrible with names. Names are my word, yeah. You just gotta stop, take your time, keep the kids busy, keep the kids clean. You know, you don't want homesick kids, and when kids are the farthest from what they are at home is when they get homesick. You know, you gotta have a little fun, and yeah, I really have never had a whole lot of trouble with homesick kids. A little bit, we've got to it, yeah, but I still think it's better not to do with the ICC box or the International Camporee box. You know, if you got a kid in your group that's a little homesick, you're going to tend to see that he's not doing things with the rest of you. And the thing to do is really include him into everything you're doing.
Every time you're doing something, he's gotta be doing it with you. And the more you include him in the activities, the more it takes his mind off that. Then I know Sundays are tough. You know, Sundays the family comes and, you know, now they're all a little bit homesick because, you know, other people's families came, they didn't have nobody come from their family and they really want to go home with mom and it is what it is. So you might get kids on a Sunday that don't have anybody coming out, you're on an international camping, you're a long ways from home. You just got to be with those kids on Sunday. You know, you got to be their family for the Sunday. So, I think we're good. Yes, Greg.
If somebody wants to make boxes, the Rush Creek Cadet Council.org website has plans for the boxes. /forms, and under International Camporee there are some forms or whatever, some plans to make them. They also have the list that you were talking about, that International Camporee list. That is listed there too, on that website. And another thing.
Oh, on Rush Creek's website.
Yeah.
Oh, what to bring in a Cadre Box.
Huh?
On what to bring in a Cadre Box.
With the Cadre
Okay.
Box and what you need in
Good.
it.
Good.
And another thing, guys, if you can't make one or whatever, don't have the time, there might be counters in, say, Grand Valley, like I have mine sitting in the garage, and I probably wouldn't use it. One of us might be willing to lend you a Cadre Box.
They're out there. Yes. Yeah.
So, don't go because you don't have one.
Yeah. Don't not go on an international camping if you don't have a Cadre Box. You don't need a Cadre Box to go, believe me. Yeah. Okay, I'm good. If there's no questions, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Yeah. I hope I covered everything. Yeah.